with saying this word out loud comfortably. So it's polynomial or polynomials. So on the count of three, all of us will say polynomials. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Polynomials. I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3.
Polynomials.
Okay, most of you said it. Not sure about 1, maybe 2. But you want to be comfortable with that word because you're going to see a lot, and at first it looks like, what? But then after a while it's like, oh, polynomials. Yeah, we deal with that all the time. Okay, what is a polynomial? What a great question. Because if you don't know what a polynomial is, this chapter is really, really tough. A polynomial is an algebraic expression. I guess I could leave it there, but there's a little bit more to it to help clarify it for us. It's an algebraic expression that contains one or more, and then you have this interesting word, monomials. So write that down, please. A polynomial is an algebraic expression that contains one or more monomials. Huh? Can you guys say that with me? First of all, monomials. 1, 2, 3. Monomials. Okay, not a scary word. There's actually something I do want you to notice in both of these words. They look very similar, don't they? Except for the prefix. The prefix here is poly. Does anyone know what poly? Or can anyone think of another word that has a prefix of poly? Raise your hand if you have one.
It's like single?
Oh, close. I think you're thinking mono. So poly, do you have a word, Jake?
Polytheistic.
Yeah, have you guys ever heard of polytheistic? Okay, that's a word that has poly in the prefix. Sarah?
Polygon?
Polygon is another word. Yep, same prefix. That's okay. Any others? Okay, I'll let the mind keep thinking about some of those. Have you guys ever had the prefix mono? Mono? Does anyone know another word with mono as a prefix?
Monotheistic?
Monotheistic, good. That's another word. Yep, Sarah back there.
Monobrow?
Monobrow. You mean unibrow?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I guess you could say both, right? Okay, monobrow. Another mono. Thank you for that. Monochromatic. Have you guys heard of monochromatic? No? Monotone. The other class, they were doing, okay, some of these. Any others? Monotonous. Have you heard of monotonous?
Monopoly.
Monopoly is another one. Okay. Does anyone know what mono means? Mono. Sarah?
One.
Yeah, one in Spanish or one in English. It means one. Single. Okay, so monopoly, the goal of the game is one person to have it all. Excuse me. Monopoly, so they have it all. Monotheistic means how many gods? One. Monochromatic, one color. Like you have a drawing of just one color on white paper, for example. Davis, did you want to add something?
Monopoly, like, because like you have P-O-L-Y at the end of it, does it mean like one has many or something like that?
Monopoly. I think poly, it might be. Actually, I need to think of that one. I thought poly or polis, like one owns everything there. But it might even be monopoly, as in one has many, which is a good way to put it. Very good. But mono, that means one. What does poly mean then? What does poly mean? Prefix of poly, polytheistic, polygon, many. Yeah, more than one. So here you have more than one, and here you have one. And these two relate in some way. A polynomial is an algebraic expression that contains one or more monomials. Do you know what a monomial is? If you don't, it's very hard to understand what a polynomial is. So I need to define a monomial. So let's get that definition down. And I think we can get polynomial once we get this one written out. A monomial this is deep, so please keep this in your notes here and in your minds as you go through. It is a number. comma. Gets deeper than that, or it could be a variable. Oh, or this one's a little bit tougher, not too bad. Or a product of numbers and variables. That's a monomial. Have you dealt with monomials before? What do you think? Have you dealt with numbers before? Yeah, you've dealt with numbers since you were very young. Maybe some of you don't even remember when you dealt with it. Have you dealt with variables for a while now? Yep. Have you dealt with products of numbers and variables? Yeah, you have. So have you dealt with monomials? Yes. Have you dealt with polynomials?
Maybe, yes.
You have. Because what's a polynomial? So if you kind of look up, what's a polynomial?
Multiple.
It contains one or more of these monomials, right? So have you dealt with one or more numbers, one or more variables, one or more products? You've dealt with this all. We're now going to keep it into algebra to see how it plays out in our problems now. Okay, let me give you some examples of what polynomials, or excuse me, what monomials are and what they are not. Okay, so an example of a monomial would be v squared. V squared. All right. There technically is a number here, but what am I writing? What is this right here? It's a letter which stands for a number, which, what do we call a letter that stands for a number? Variable. And do you guys understand it's v times v? Okay, so isn't that a product of variables? So this is a monomial. Another example would be 2gs. How can 2gs be? Yep, it's a product of numbers and variables. So 2 times g times s, that's a monomial. Okay, that's not too bad. Monomial. These are examples of monomials. Those are good in identifying what a monomial is. Here are some examples of what monomials are not, okay? Because you need to be able to distinguish the two. 5 over m. 5 over m is not a monomial. Does anyone know why? According to definitions, it can't be a monomial. And then I'll clarify that. Chelsea?
It's not a product of numbers.
It's not a product. Then what is it?
It's like
Do you remember what you call that? Quotients. It is a quotient of numbers and variables. So that's one reason. The main reason is this. I need you to get this down because you need to understand this on your own assignment. Look at the variable. It's in what spot? What spot or what place? It's in the denominator. You can't have a variable in the denominator for this to be a monomial. Not a monomial. Another example of a non-monomial. And this one I referred to actually when I was telling you what we're going to be doing. That's called the square root of AB. Okay, if you just look at AB, isn't that a product of A and B? Now I have the square root of AB, and that is no longer a monomial. When you have a radical sign, this is a radical sign, you do not have a monomial anymore. Unless you simplify it, in this case you can't anymore. Not monomials. Yeah, if it's m over 5, it's a monomial because the m is in the numerator, and that's okay. Yes, ma'am.
What if it was like 5 over m squared, or times 2?
So
Because it would be a product.
Say that one more time.
So 5 over m like squared, or just times 2.
So if that m is in that denominator, not a monomial. If any variable is in that denominator, not a variable, not a monomial. Okay, good questions. This helps us clarify it. Okay, how many of you think you're okay with identifying those? Okay, I'm going to give you some examples here. See if you can get it on your own. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with this. Is that a monomial, yes or no? Yes, you raise your hand. No, you keep your hand down. So is that a monomial? Yes? No. Okay, it is. And I need an explanation. Yes, I see that hand, Josh.
It would be because you're always multiplying that little 1
Oh, so you do have a 1, and you have a variable monomial. Okay, another one here. Negative 3c squared. Monomial? Not monomial. Ooh, what does my friend think? Oh, nope. Okay. Oh, yes, I see that hand. Cole, why is that a monomial? But that's a negative. Can numbers be negative? Yeah, don't be afraid of a negative sign. That's a monomial. Very good. 2/5 m cubed n to the 4th. Monomial? Not monomial. Oh, very good. We have a division here. Laura says it is. Why?
Because it's a product of numbers.
And
Has the variable.
Okay, it's a product of numbers and variables, but that's a fraction.
Still number. Just not whole number.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, good. That's it. 2/5, is that a number? Mm-hmm. That's a product of numbers and variables. That is a polynomial. You guys ready for this one? .62 p cubed q cubed. I know it's funny to say. You pick. Monomial or not? Both? Okay, Alyssa, is that a hand up? Okay, why is that a polynomial if you say it is? It's okay.
Because it's a product of numbers and variables.
0.62, Rachel?
Yeah.
Really? That's a decimal.
Really? Sorry.
Rachel, that is a number, isn't it? So yeah, it's a product of numbers and variables. You guys okay with that? These are all monomials. Okay. Now I'm gonna add this to your understanding right now. Do you guys now agree that they're all monomials? Monomial, 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 monomial? I agree. I do not agree. Okay. I'm gonna call them polynomials as well. Is that allowed?
Yes.
Somebody tell me why raising their hand. Yes, Sarah, back there.
Because they contain one or more, so every monomial is a polynomial.
Good. Every monomial is also a polynomial. And that is a little bit strange because mono means what? One, and poly means more than one or many. But it's still an understanding there. Okay, this is what I wanted to get next in our notes here. I'm going to go back to this. So did you guys write this down? How many of you wrote this down? If not, it's okay, but how many of you did write it down? Okay, if you didn't write it down, you're going to write it down later. So if you already wrote it down, give yourself some space to write this next part. We're going to talk about classification of polynomials. We've spent a lot of time talking about monomials, whether an expression is monomial or not. Now we're going to classify polynomials, and monomials are polynomials. Okay, so ready? You know what the first type of polynomial is? Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. It's monomial. It's a monomial. That's the first type. What's a monomial? Can anyone do it without looking at their notes? And that means you're not doing this when I'm asking. You're not doing this. I think it's when a monomial is a number. You gotta give it to me straight, just from memory here. Yeah. Sarah?
Monomial is a product of variables and numbers.
Okay, that's one of them. Do you remember the other two parts? Okay, that's all right. Peter?
Monomial is a number or variable that is a product.
Okay, I'm just going to clear it up. It's a number, you're right. It's a variable, or it's a product of numbers and variables. So 3 types. See, you got it there. So a monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of numbers and variables. The second type, it's going to be hard to remember here because of the word so strange. Binomial. Binomial is the second type of polynomial. Binomial. And let me give you the definition and then see if you guys can tell me how I got that definition. Okay? So binomial is, I'll put it here, two monomials added or subtracted together. Two monomials added or subtracted. Oh, man. I really don't like saying subtracted anymore. I really don't. Don't like it. But I'm going to say it here. How in the world did I get two monomials added or subtracted? Two. Binomial. Binomial. Monomial. Polynomial. Davis?
A bicycle has two wheels.
Yeah, that prefix bi means two. Any other words that have a prefix bi? That prefix is bio, which means life. But that's close. That's not. That's close. It is close. Peter? Bi?
Is this actually real? What bi? Is it biotheistic or?
Say that again?
Is it biotheistic or bitheistic?
Oh, bitheistic, like two gods? I don't think there's a. I mean, if you made a word, that's how you would make it. Bitheistic. But I don't think there's a place where they used only two gods. But no, that's a good way to think of it. Yep.
A recycling bin.
Like bin. So bin is its own roots. Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. It does have bi, but then the n, that is its word. Have you ever? Well, this is what you're going to do a lot in like biology. Let's just go back to biology. You're going to do a lot of dissections. You know what die means? Cut. Yeah, we're going to cut some stuff together. And I did this when I taught biology. And you're going to use bisections of different organisms. You're going to cut that organism into two. And you're usually going to do it into two equal parts.
That's disgusting.
The worst part of it is the smell. Okay, anyway. Bicycle, two wheels. Bisection, cut into two parts. Bifocals. Does anyone have bifocals on? Yep. Glasses. Bifocals. Sorry? I think that's a play on the word, but that's good. I'm trying to think of another one. Anyone else have a word that starts with bi? Bi?
Bicycle.
Bi. No. Bi. Huh? No, that was already said. All right. We'll think of some more possibly. The third type. Binary. Yes, binary is definitely that binary. Third type. Three.
Trinomial.
Oh, very close. Trinomial. Trinomial.
Same thing.
What is the next one, like quadnomial?
We'll get to that. I'll ask you in just a minute. Okay, listening up. Yes, sir. Tricycle, three wheels. I can't wait till my son is with that tricycle. Triangle, three-sided, three-angled. No, trigonometry has that tri in it. Yeah, trigonometry. Good. The study of right triangles. Yep. Yeah, triangles, three-sided, three angles. That's tri. Trilogy. How many movies are in a trilogy? Well, Triceratops, the three horns. Triceratops. Yep. Yeah, trilogy has three. Tri. That prefix is used a lot. The Trinity. And that's tough for people to get. What does the Trinity mean? How many gods do we worship? One. And how many persons?
Three.
So that's what we mean by Trinity, which again can be kind of tough for people. How many monomials are added or subtracted in a trinomial? Three. Oh my, three. Yeah, you can put 3. 3 monomials that are added or subtracted.
Wow. What about
Triceps
triceps?
has, it's this muscle right here, it's broken into 3 major parts. Biceps have 2 major parts.
And quadriceps.
Quadriceps have the 4. Yep. You see how, guys, it's important to know language when you're studying math or science because it helps you to understand. Even if you've never seen that word before, what does that mean? It has try in it. It must mean something with. One day we'll get it. Okay, yes, sir.
Isn't the full definition or not?
Yeah, you can put 3 monomials, and you can say added or subtracted if you want to make it really clear. Yep. It's trino. Oh wow, I even spelled it wrong. I'm sorry. Trinomial. Wow, that's how you spell it. So sorry if you wrote in your notes trinomial. It's easier than trinomial.
Oh, dang it, I said that.
I was testing you. I misspelled that. Okay, trinomial, binomial, and monomial are the different types of polynomials. But someone asked, what about if you have 4 monomials, or 5, or 6, or 7? There's no special name for 4 terms, 5 terms, 6 terms, 7 terms. You just call them polynomials. Just call them polynomials.
That's boring.
Yeah, it is boring. You can call it something else if you want, but you're not going to see that, unfortunately, in your books. But that also means you don't have to memorize all these different prefixes, although it would be nice. Okay, everyone got this down? You good with these? Okay, let's look at example number 1. Thank you. Example number 1. And let's make sure we know how to classify. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about these. Example 1a. Okay. Somebody read out loud the instructions in bold. Annie, can you read those for example number 1?
Determine whether the given expression is a polynomial. If it is, classify it as monomial, a binomial, or trinomial.
Okay. So you have to determine if it's a polynomial at all, and if it is monomial, binomial, trinomial, you need to further classify it. Okay. Up here, is this a monomial? What do you guys think? Is that a monomial up there?
Yes.
Monomial. So this whole thing is a monomial.
No.
Can somebody tell me why it's not?
It's a block.
Okay, Chelsea?
There's more than one variable or more than one number.
Okay, there's more than one monomial up there. More than one monomial up there. Huh? Does anyone know what the first monomial is up there? What's the first monomial? Cole? Yeah, it's this right here. Now, you're like, why not the plus 7x? Well, what's plus mean? You're doing what? Adding. Does a monomial have addition going on? No. So it's not a monomial if it has addition going on. But this is a monomial. Does anyone know what the second monomial is? Second monomial? Peter? Not just x, 7x. And I'm going to underline plus 7x or positive 7x. And the third monomial? Anyone know what the third monomial is? Betsy?
That's -5.
Okay, -5 or -5. You can call it either one. All right, how many monomials do you have up here? 3, which means what kind of polynomial is this? So you would answer trinomial.
So we don't have to solve it?
No, there's nothing to solve because you can't make it simpler because you can't add any of these together. They're not like terms. So you're done. You just call it trinomial. That's a big chunk of your homework. Is that hard? No. Okay. Then B. B is 3y minus 1 over y squared. If you're paying attention, remember, hopefully you can get this stuff down here. Is it a monomial?
No. Yes. Yes. No, because
Why not? I hear no and I hear a lot of yeses. Sarah?
a variable can't be on the denominator.
Okay, so first of all, you're correct. It's not even a polynomial because you have a variable in the denominator. It's no longer a polynomial. See what the answer to this one is? Is it a monomial? No. Is it a binomial? No. Is it trinomial? No. Notice I said no a lot? No. or not a polynomial?
There's 3y, so why isn't that?
Good question. So if you just had this, it would be a monomial, right? Because 3y, that's a monomial. But they want you to classify the whole thing. Like the whole thing as a whole is not a polynomial because it has a non-monomial part. So does that make sense? Even if 3 parts are monomials, if one part is not, the whole thing is not a polynomial. Yes, ma'am?
If it's a polynomial, since those are the other 3 are classifications of polynomials, if it's not a polynomial, can it not be any of them?
Yeah, that's logic. Good. If it's not a polynomial, can it be a monomial?
No.
If it's not a polynomial, can it be a trinomial? No. So yeah, if it's not a polynomial, it can't be any of those others. Okay, good on that? Okay, I want you guys to try on page 708 to classify numbers 7 and 8 on your own, numbers 7 and 8. You tell me if it's a polynomial, and if it is, you say monomial, binomial, trinomial. Numbers 7 and 8. Okay, hold on. I'll ask you in just a moment. Okay, the first one, number 7. What kind of polynomial is that? Emily? Did you have an answer? Okay, go ahead.
I said no. Because it's got the number on the bottom, right?
Wait, that's not a polynomial? I thought it was a binomial.
Yeah. Oh, man.
No, you're good, Emily. It's not a polynomial because the variable's in the denominator. Can you have a variable in the denominator and still have a polynomial? No. Question?
Can you just say like tri, bi, or like mono?
No, you could say trinomial, binomial, monomial. But yes, thank you for asking. That clarifies it for us. Peter?
I'm just wondering who this one.
Number 8? Okay, go ahead. What's 8? Oh, let me get this question I think I have.
For the homework,
Yeah.
Do we have to write down the problem and then put...
You don't have to, no.
Oh, yeah.
Did I say that out loud? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, go ahead. What's 8?
It's trinomial.
It has 3 monomials?
Yeah,
Trinomial is good, Peter. Good, you got it. Okay, it's time to play the game, Name That Monomial. Nick, you're our first contestant. What is the first monomial in number 8? The first monomial.
3x squared.
Oh, that is correct. Good job. Next, on Name That Monomial, Murphy, what is the second monomial? Oh, she got it. 4x is correct. And I'll put positive 4x because I'm a positive guy. Last monomial. I'll go with Matt. What's the third monomial? Sorry? Negative 2. And we'll say negative because I don't like negative. This is the trinomial. How many of you can figure it out if it's a monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Can you guys do that? How many of you can identify each term in the monomial, binomial, trinomial? You guys sure about that? Good. All right. On page 708, number 12, I need you to tell me what kind of polynomial it is. I know it's a polynomial, so what kind it is. And then underline the terms on number 12.
So we have to write it out.
Yeah, on number 12, you need to tell me what kind of polynomial it is. And then you have to underline the terms in that polynomial. All right, check with your neighbors, see what they got, see if you got the same thing. Hopefully it's the same and it's good. If you're willing to sing it, I'm slightly willing. Oh. Okay, I need a classification. Monomial, binomial, trinomial. Give me with the number of fingers in the air what kind of polynomial it is. It's a trinomial. All right, trinomial. Good. And Josh, give me the third monomial.
Would that be negative y to the fourth?
Negative y to the fourth is correct. Very good. My next volunteer, Swivl, is Annie. What is the second monomial? Plus xy squared. And the first one, the only one left. Emily? X to the second, x squared. Okay, I'm a little confused with the first answer that was given to me, negative y to the fourth. You guys remember that? Josh, you gave me that answer, I think? Negative y to the fourth. That's the answer. But guys, I thought that meant minus.
Negative. Both.
Okay, it means both. In this case, it means negative y to the fourth. But that further confuses me, guys. Do you guys remember when I made that statement, I hate subtraction? I hate writing it? Because you know what's going on here? Wow. Did you take my notes, Sarah? Do you have my notes? I'm missing that part of my notes. Guys, when you're dealing with algebra, a lot of times instead of saying subtract this or minus that, you're adding a negative y to the fourth. So I can really just say binomial is when you're adding two monomials. A trinomial is when you're adding three monomials. So that's the idea. Okay, good on this? We have one more part, we're done. Okay. One more and we're done. All right, I'm going to go back to this. You guys remember this? If you haven't written it down, write it down. Give yourself some space on the right. Because we want to determine not only if it's a monomial, binomial, trinomial, but we also want to give the degree of that monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So we're looking at degree. Okay. I'm going to do it this way. I think I'm going to make it kind of easy here. You have two columns. It's kind of similar to that chart that's on the bottom of page 706, except I'm not going to make it, you're not going to have to write all of that down. Okay, so you have these four monomials, and then you have some pieces of info related to them. All right, on the first monomial, z, does the variable, or variables, I'm going to keep saying that because it's going to apply to all of them, does the variable or variables have exponents?
Yes.
How many of you agree that this has an exponent of 1? Has an exponent of 1. We're going to put the exponent as 1. Any other exponents? Nope. If the exponent is 1, you know what the degree of this monomial is? 1. This is 1. That's all right. That's a good guess. And hopefully you'll get this next one. Ready? All right, the second monomial, does it have a variable with exponents? A variable or variables with exponents. Yeah, what's the exponent of those variables or variable? 2. Any others? Nope. So what's the degree of that monomial? 2. The second degree, or degree of 2. All right, this third monomial. Uh-oh. Does it have exponents for its variables? It has 2 of them. What are they? 3 and 4. Okay, those are the exponents of the variables. So what's the degree of this monomial? It's the sum of 3 and 4, which is 7. It has a degree of 7. You just add those two exponents together. Just the exponents, boom, you get 7. Following that same logic, 0.62 p cubed q cubed has exponents on its variables of what? 3 and 3. So what's the degree of this monomial? 6. 6. Very good. Good. You're using Spanish to answer these. I'll communicate that. I'll communicate that to your teacher. You might get some bonus points. But anyway, how many of you think you get this with the degree? Okay, I need to test it out real quick. Back to page 708. Look at number 9. Give me the degree of that monomial. 708, number 9. Negative 2xy squared. I want the degree of it. I know it's a monomial, right? Wait, is it a monomial?
Yes.
Okay, good. It's a monomial, and I want to know the degree. I'll write it down, and then with your fingers, give it to me. How many? Should only require 1. It's it's 3.
What?
3. And you're like, what? How does that happen?
Yeah.
Does x have an exponent?
I thought they were together.
And that's actually a good review here. These are separate variables. They have their own exponents with them. There is a way to make them have the same one, which we will look at in this chapter. So that's actually a good point. We'll look at that. But here, separate. 3. All right, I'll give you another chance. Number 10. You found the connection?
What?
Sorry, we're...
Oh, it's worth $1,000.
Oh, okay.
Name that too.
Oh, gotcha. You can be my co-host next time.
Yes. Oh, dang. Can I be the co-host?
Can I be the
Coco host?
Can I be the star? Just kidding. I'll be the contestant.
You guys really like that game, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that thing. That's why I'm the co-host.
I will consider it. Okay, let's go with number 10. What's the degree with the number of fingers on one hand? One whole hand. One hand. Unless something happened to one of those fingers, you should have 5. 5 is the answer. Look at the exponent of x, exponent of y. Those add up to be 5. Okay, I'm going to give you another one. We haven't talked about it yet, but I want to see if you guys can maybe figure it out on your own. Number 11. Do you notice that's not a monomial, is it? Is that a monomial, number 11?
Yes.
Oh, breaking my heart right now. What is it then?
It is a no.
Sorry. Is this a polynomial? Yes. Is it a monomial?
No.
Is it a binomial? 1, 2. Remember, a plus sign can't be in a monomial. So if you're looking at the whole thing, it's not a monomial, but it is 2 monomials, which we call a binomial. All right. You can't have an addition or subtraction sign in one monomial. Yeah, so this separates 2 of them now. So see here, there's no addition or subtraction sign, no addition, other than that negative sign. Ooh, throws us for a loop. Okay, what's the degree of this polynomial? What's the degree of the polynomial? You have really 2 options, maybe 3, I don't know. Come up with some numbers. Yeah, what do you think? 4, that's a good guess. It's not, but it really is a good guess. You use it logically. I need another answer, though. I need the answer. Parker? 10. No, it's too high. Too high.
9.
Josh? 3 is correct.
Wait, I thought there had to be a 1.
Okay. Listen, this is how you're going to determine it. If you have a binomial or a trinomial, you have to look at each monomial separately. All right, this monomial, what's the degree of this monomial? 3. I'll just write it underneath it. What's the degree of the second monomial? 1.
3 plus 1.
Okay, now we would think, right, 3 plus 1 is 4. But when you're looking at a binomial or a trinomial, which one of these has the highest degree? So you call it a third degree polynomial. Let's go through one more together, and then we'll see if we can get it. Actually, we already wrote this problem down. Do you guys remember how we did number 12? We classified what type of polynomial. Can you guys go back to that, number 12? Do you guys see where it is, number 12? Okay, I'm going to write it down again because I have that option here. Oh, minus 1. All right, you remember this problem? All right, what kind of polynomial was it, guys? What kind of polynomial? Trinomial. Okay, so the three terms you guys determined were these. You guys remember that? You should have that underlined. Now, I want to get the degree of the whole polynomial, but I have to look at each monomial individually. What's the degree of the first monomial? 2. What's the degree of the second? 3. And the third? 4. Which one of these is the highest power? 4. So this whole thing is a fourth degree trinomial, or trinomial of degree 4.
If it's not a monomial, it's the highest one?
Exactly. And yeah, you're always looking at monomials and seeing, all right, in this trinomial, which one has the highest 4? In a monomial, which one has the highest power? Well, whatever the power is. Rachel.
What does this help with?
What a great question. Look at example number 3. This helps people and it saves their lives. I'm like, I didn't know this. I didn't even know this before looking at this example. I'm going to read it real quick. Doctors can study the heart of a potential heart attack patient by injecting dye in a vein near the heart. Is that practical for anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not for you, but that does save people's lives. I hope you understand that. Okay, in a normal heart, so if they're trying to figure out, is this a normal heart or not, the amount of dye in the bloodstream after t seconds, so a variable t, is given by the polynomial. And do you guys see that polynomial there? I'm thinking to myself, why do we even care about this? Well, that person who is potentially at risk for a heart attack, they care about it, don't they? Don't they wish someone knew how to figure that one out? Because if they can figure it out and you're close to that number, you're good. If you're away from that number, you better get some help. You better change something to help you out. So is it practical for somebody? Okay. Here's another example that wasn't a part of your, it's not in your textbook, it's in mine. The total United States exports in billions of dollars between 1980 and 1990 can be modeled by the polynomial. And guys, I didn't know this on my own. T equals negative 0.13 t to the fourth, hold on, plus 2.7 t cubed minus 14 t squared, and it keeps going. It's a super complicated polynomial, and that tells us how much we're exporting out there. Do you think we need to know how much we export as a country?
Sure. Yeah.
You say, I don't need to know, but somebody needs to know it is practical. All right, let me give you the assignment. It's not hard. It's really not hard. It's 19 to 47 odd. Yeah, some of you maybe saw it. 47. And then 64 to 67, and that's pages 708 to 709. Now, there's one little section there that might seem different. If you're looking at 43 to 47, all you have to do is put in the numbers that they give you in those variables and figure it out.
Can a whole number be a monomial?
Whole number? Like 3?
Yeah.
Yep, it's a monomial.